Good morning, friends. Today's topic is Dracunculus medencisis, which belongs to one of the Nemathelminthus phylum. Come to here, that is the classification. Phylum Aschelminthus or Nemathelminthus. Class is Nematoda, and the subclass is the Plasmida, and the order is Dracunculoidea. The genus is Dracunculus, and species is medencisis. Okay? So class is Nematoda, subphylum is Plasmida, order is Dracunculoidea. So Dracunculus medencisis is commonly called as a guinea worm or the spent worm, guinea worm or serpent worm or the dragon worm or medina worm. They are the commonly known as the guinea worm and the serpent worm and the dragon worm and the medina worm. It is a endoparasitic. And it is living in the subcutaneous tissue. Especially of the legs, arms, and back of man. And it is cylindrical in shape. It is causes dracunculitis, dracuntiasis, and it exhibit sexual dimorphism. That is nothing but sexes are separate. Come to morphology. It is a common occurrence in the dry region of the Africa, India, and China. It is a common occurrence in the dry region of the Africa, India, and China. Except for a few remote villages in the Rajasthan deserts, all of the Rajasthan deserts, India guinea worms disease now occurs. సో ఆల్మోస్ట్ రాజస్థాన్లో డిజర్ట్ దగ్గర ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రాంతంలో ఏ 2-3 గ్రామాలలో మాత్రమే లేదు, మిగిలిన అన్ని గ్రామాల్లో కూడా ఇది కామన్ అక్యురెన్స్ కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది. అండ్ ది anterior end has a cuticular ring incising the mouth bearing 6 labial papillae in 2 sets. And the esophagus has 3 parts. They are carpus, bulb, and isthmus. So esophagus has 3 parts, that is the carpus, bulb, and isthmus. And come to female structure. Female, it is a slender long worm. And the measuring 60 centimeters to 1 meter in length. The body is cylindrical and smooth and milky white in color. The body is cylindrical and smooth and the milky white in color. And the females are very long with pointed straighted end. And the mouth is situated at the anterior end. And the anus is present at the posterior end. సో ఆంటీరియర్ end ఏమో మౌత్ ఉంటుంది, పోస్టీరియర్ end ఏమో మనము ఆయన చూడటం జరుగుతుంది. Excretory pore is present at about 1/3 of the length from their body. 1/3 of the length of the body. And here between the mouth and excretory pore there is a gonopores. I am sharing one diagram here. First one is this is the female and this is the male. First one is the female and second one is the male. Here between the mouth and excretory pore there is a gonopore is there. Female reproductive organs అయినటువంటి యూటరై and vulva are doubled. This situation is called as the didelphic condition. The didelphic condition shows in the kangaroos also there. Okay, the mature female contains embryo-filled uterus. The mature female contains embryonated uterus. అండ్ ది ఫీమేల్ వామ్ ఈస్ వివిపారస్. ఫీమేల్ వామ్ ఈస్ వివిపారస్ అంటే 2 టైప్, ఎగ్ ఇస్తుంది యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ డైరెక్ట్ పిల్లల్ని కనడం జరుగుతుంది. అండ్ డిశ్చార్జ్ ఎంబ్రియోస్ ఇన్ సక్సెసివ్ బ్యాచెస్ ఫర్ ఏ పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ అబౌట్ 3 weeks. ది ఫీమేల్ వామ్ discharges embryos in successive batches. ది లైఫ్ స్పాన్ ఆఫ్ ది ఫీమేల్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ 1 year. అవి 1 year వరకు కూడా బతుకుండడం అనేది జరుగుతుంది. నౌ కమ్ టు హియర్ ఫీమేల్. ది ఫీమేల్స్ ఆర్ ఫ్యూ, అవి కొన్నే ఉంటాయి. ఇట్ ఈస్ మచ్ స్మాలర్ దెన్ ద ఫీమేల్ అండ్ మెజర్ 20 to 30 mm length. At the male reproductive organs, a single testis opens to the vasa differentia. A single testis is there which are opens to vasa differentia, and it opens to seminal vesicule. Seminal vesicule opens to gonopore. And the posterior end of male is spirally coiled tail. సో పోస్టీరియర్ ఎండ్ ఉన్నటువంటి తోక భాగం అనేది కూడా వంపు తిరిగి షార్ప్గా ఉంటుంది. ది కాయిల్డ్ టెయిల్ contains 10 pairs of papillae. The coiled tail is having the 10 pairs of papillae. In 10 pairs of papillae, 4 pairs are preanal, 6 pairs are postanal. Preanal and postanal. Male possesses a pair of copulatory spicules. Okay, male possesses a pair of copulatory spicules, and the males possess a cloaca at the posterior end. అంటే ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే మేల్లో ఏముంటాయంటే 10 pairs of papillae ఉంటాయి. మళ్ళీ ఏముంటాయంటే ఒక కాపులేటరీ స్పైక్యూల్స్ అనేవి ఉంటాయి, ఒక జత కాపులేటరీ స్పైక్యూల్స్ ఉంటాయి. అండ్ ద మేల్స్ ఆఫ్ ద క్లోకా ఎట్ ద పోస్టీరియర్ ఎండ్. And the lifespan of the male is not more than 6 months. దీని యొక్క అంటే ఫీమేల్కి ఏమో 1 year ఉంటుంది, ఇదేమో జస్ట్ 6 months to 1 year వరకు ఉండడం జరుగుతుంది. Now come to life cycle. Dracunculus complete the life cycle in 2 hosts. That's why they called as the digentic parasitic. Primary, that is the definitive host, is the man, and the secondary, that is the intermediate host, is the cyclops, which is the crustacean copepod. Cyclops is one of the crustacean copepod. The male and female attain their sexual maturity in the retroperitoneal connective tissue and undergoes the process of copulation. When those are male and female come to their sexual attains, rapidly grow to maturity, and these two are the sexually maturity in the retroperitoneal connective tissue and undergoes the process of copulation. The male die after the releasing the sperm into the female gonopore. This is important. When the male genital aperture is entered to the female and enter the sperm, the male is a die. Fertilization is internal. Development occurs in uterus. And the female contains numerous embryos in its uterus. Okay, female contains numerous embryos in its uterus. And the female containing embryos migrate beneath the skin of leg and hands of the man. So first of all ఏంటంటే ఫీమేల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి ఎంబ్రియోనేటెడ్ ఎగ్స్ అన్నీ కూడా ఫిఎస్ఎస్ తోటి బయటకు వచ్చేస్తుంది. And the female contains numerous eggs on its uterus. The female containing embryos migrate beneath the skin of legs and hands of the man. These legs and hands regularly touching the water. When the touch with the water, the parasite produces toxic secretions which produce a blister on skin. అంటే రెగ్యులర్గా టచ్ చేయడం వల్ల అక్కడ ఒక ఉబ్బి ఈనెల టైపు స్ట్రక్చర్ ఏర్పడుతుంది. దాన్నే బ్లిస్టర్ ఆన్ స్కిన్ అంట. సూన్ యాజ్ ulcer is formed. The blister on skin soon as a change as a ulcers. This ulcers contact with the water. The ulcers break and the freely projects its uterus and the releases embryos in water. All the embryos is passed out from the parent female worm to water. The embryos in water swallowed by a cyclops. సో అక్కడ ఏం జరుగుతుందంటే ఫస్ట్ ఫీమేల్ యూటరస్లో ఎంబ్రియోనేటెడ్ ఎగ్స్ అనేటువంటి ఉంటాయి. అవన్నీ కూడా ఎక్కడికి మైగ్రేట్ అవుతున్నాయి అంటే అవి ఫీమేల్ కంటైన్ ఎంబ్రియోస్ మైగ్రేట్ అండర్ ద beneath the skin of legs and the hands of the mans. The legs and hands regularly touch with the water. దానివల్ల blister on skin. As soon as blister on skin is changes as a ulcers. The ulcer contact with the water. Ulcer break and the freely projects into uterus and releases embryos in the water. సో ఎప్పుడైతే అల్సర్స్ అంటే వాటర్ తగులుతుందో అవన్నీ కూడా బ్రేక్ డౌన్ అవుతున్నాయి. దానివల్ల ఎంబ్రియో అన్న కూడా వాటర్లో కలుస్తుంది. అదే వాటర్ని కనుక సైక్లాప్స్ ఇంటర్మీడియట్ హోస్ట్ అయినటువంటి ఎంబ్రియోస్ ఆ వాటర్ని తీసుకున్నట్టయితే ద ఎంబ్రియోస్ ఈజ్ డైరెక్ట్లీ ఇంజెస్టెడ్ బై ద cyclops stomach. So in cyclops the embryos undergo to the successive tumors. Each cyclops can ingest as many as 15 to 20 guinea embryos. The infected cyclops usually die 42 days, but with a heavy infection they do not live for the more than 15 days. అవి యాక్చువల్లీ 42 డేస్ వరకు ఉంటాయి, కానీ మోర్ ఇన్ఫెక్టెడ్ అవ్వడం వల్ల 15 డేస్ కంటే కూడా ఎక్కువగా ఉండలేకపోతాయి. ఆఫ్టర్ ద కంప్లీషన్ ఆఫ్ ది ఫస్ట్ మౌల్డ్ ది ఎంబ్రియో చేంజెస్ ఇంటూ infective stage. After completing the first mold, the embryo changes into infective stage. When cyclops containing the infective stages are swallowed by man, cyclops containing the infective stage are swallowed by the man along with the drinking water. సో అలాంటి అంటే ఎంబ్రియో ఉన్నటువంటి సైక్లాప్స్ కడుపులో సైక్లాప్స్ యొక్క స్టమక్లో ఈ ఫస్ట్ మౌల్ట్ కంప్లీట్ చేసుకున్నటువంటి ఎంబ్రియోస్ ఉన్నాయి. The person is taking the contaminated water. The contaminated water is nothing but the water containing cyclops. The cyclops containing embryonated of this Dracunculus. So when the person is taking the contaminated water, see the cyclops is directly enter to the man's stomach. When the cyclops contain the infectious stages are swallowed by man along with the drinking water. So finally cyclops containing the infective stages, that is the embryos, reaches to the primary host, that is the man, that is the infective stage of man. In the stomach of the man, cyclops are digested by in the effect of the gastric juices. So akkada emaitundi ikkada when the cyclops are entered to the man's body, that is the stomach, here one thing, the man's gastric juices, the stomach have the gastric juices are releasing. That's why the effect of the gastric juices, the cyclops is larvae of Dracunculus are releases and undergo to the final mold in man's stomach. Now the larva penetrate the gut wall of the man and enter it the retroperitoneal tissue. In this retroperitoneal connective tissue, larvae grow rapidly and become sexually mature about 8 to 12 months. It repeated the life cycle. Here I am giving a small short notes here. This is the male and this is the female. These two, female gives a ovum and males gives a sperm. These two are contact together. The process is called as the fertilization. The fertilization process is in the female uterus. Okay, here after the sperm ovum, the young stages of sperm and young stages of sperm and ovum is connected together, form as a numerous embryo. This is a 12 stage of 12 stage. Here the numerous embryonated is the where is the retroperitoneal connective tissue of the legs and hands. And the legs and hands regularly touch with the water. So embryonated are migrated to retroperitoneal connective tissue of legs and hands. Then the legs and hands regularly touch with the water. When the water with the blister on skin. So water is attached with the ulcer, blister on skin, ulcers formed. So embryos are released from the legs and hands of males to water. When the water is attached to the blister on skin, the ulcers are formed and the ulcers are break down. The embryos are freely released in the water. The embryos are in water. Presently, embryos are in water. This water is taken by the cyclops. Embryos swallowed by cyclops, that is the intermediate host. That is the intermediate host. So here embryo reaches to gut of cyclops. When the cyclops having the embryos. When the cyclops is taking the water, the embryos already in the water. That's why embryos are directly enter to the cyclops gut wall. So embryos reaches to gut of the cyclops and the completed 2 months. Completed to 2 molds. After completion of the 2 molds, formed into infective stage of larva. అంటే ఇక్కడ gut of the cyclops లో. After the 2 months completed, that will be changed as a infective stage. Other time the infective stages are ingested by the man through drinking water. ఆ సైక్లాప్స్లో ఉన్నటువంటి ఆ ఎంబ్రియో అనేటువంటి సైక్లాప్స్లో ఉంటే సైక్లో అంటే వాటర్ ఉంటాయి. ఆ వాటర్ కనుక మానవుడు మనిషి కనుక యాజ్ ఎ డ్రింకింగ్ వాటర్ తీసుకున్నట్టయితే ద సైక్లాప్స్ ఆర్ ఇంజెస్టెడ్ బై మ్యాన్ త్రూ డ్రింకింగ్ వాటర్. సో larvae in man's stomach. When the cyclops is entered to the man's stomach, the larvae is in the Dracunculus in the man's stomach. Final molt is completed at the man's stomach. 2 molts are completed to the cyclops gut wall and the last final molt is completed in the larva, that is the man's stomach. And the effect of gastric juices. Effect of the gastric juices, larvae enter to the retroperitoneal tissue. And the larvae rapidly grow and become sexually mature in the 8 to 12 months. After the 8 to 12 months, the larvae also change as a adult worm, that is the guinea worm. This is a cycle is repeated. This is the Dracunculus medencisis life cycle. Here there are the very important topic from the Plasti elements and the long history questions. Here simple I am giving you some summary notes about the Dracunculus. This is commonly called as a guinea worm and a serpent worm and dragon worm and medina worm. The sexes are separated. Male and females are different. Sexual dimorphism shows. They commonly occurs in the dry regions of Africa, India and Arabia and China, except a few remote villages in the Rajasthan deserts of the India. Designed guinea worm this now occurs. The anterior end of the cuticular ring exercise, and the female is a longer in size, male is a smaller in size. Okay, female are very long size with a pointed straight ends. The female is the curly tail is there. That is the identification characters. And between the mouth and excretory pore, there is a gonopore is there in the respective female and male. And female reproductive organs, uteri, vulva and uteri is the double. This condition is called as the didelphic condition. In mature female contains embryo-filled uterus. The mature female contains embryo-filled uterus. The female worms viviparous and discharges embryo in successive batches for a period of 3 weeks. And the male is a few. It is a much smaller than the female and they measure 20 to 30 centimeters only. And the male reproductive organs, a single testis is opens to vasa differentia, and the vasa differentia is opens to seminal vesicule. Seminal vesicule is open to gonopore. And the posterior end of the male is a spirally coiled tail, and a coiled tail contains the 10 pairs of papillae. In these 10 pairs of papillae, there are these 4 pairs of preanal and the 6 pairs of post-anal. And male possesses a pair of copulatory organs, and the male possesses a cloaca at the posterior end. And the life cycle is that there are the digenic parasite. First host is the man, second host is the cyclops, that is the crustacean copepods. The male and female, the sexual maturity in the retroperitoneal connective tissue and undergoes the passive copulation. The male die after the releasing the sperm into the female gonopore. Fertilization is internal development occurs in the uterus. The female contains numerous embryos in the uterus. The female contains embryos migrate under the beneath the and the retroperitoneal connective tissue నుంచి ఎక్కడికి వస్తుంది డిశ్చార్జ్ అవుతుంది అది migrate to the beneath the skin of legs and hands of the man. The legs and hands regularly in touch with water. When the touch with the water, the parasite produces toxic secretions which produce a blister on skin. So when the water is attached to the blister on skin, the ulcers are formed. When the ulcers are formed, the ulcers are break down and the embryos are freely released in the water. This type of water is taking the cyclops. The embryos in water swallowed by the cyclops. In cyclops, the embryos undergo to two successive molts. So embryos swallowed by the cyclops, that intermediate host, the embryos reaches in the gut of the cyclops and the completed 2 molts. After the completion of the 2 molts, the formed as a infectious stage of larva. And this type of cyclops is in the water. This water is taken by the man. That's why the cyclops is ingested by the man through drinking water. Larvae in stomach. So when the cyclops is entered to the man's, the larvae in the man's stomach, final molt is completed at the man's stomach. And the effect of the gastric juices, larvae is entered to the retroperitoneal connective tissue, and the larvae rapidly grow into 8 to 12 months of duration. After the larvae is changes as a adult and maintain the sexual maturity after 8 to 12. So and the life cycle is repeated. This is the Dracunculus life cycle, and tomorrow we are discussing about the next topic. It is a very important topic from the first semester, that is the Nemati Helminthes. Okay, and then thank you.